I just finished watching this documentary about sharks that live in the tropics. Basically, the mystery was that they like to hang out in trenches, specifically tiger sharks. And they gave you this intro about the Bermuda Triangle is where many ships and planes have been lost, and your compasses get disoriented and shit happens, right? And then the intrigue had to do with why marine animals seem to be attracted to this area. And then they were pretty much hunting down this one shark that they have been collecting data from for about 12 years or so. It's like big companies and how they like to data mine us. My favorite thing about this is that the episode revolved mostly around finding this one female, but then they ended up catching a male tiger shark that was ginormous. But when they caught this female tiger shark that they have known since 2008, they put a camera on her for about a day. And the whole point was for data, of course, to be collected about her for 24 hours. And then the scientist guy was like, we discovered something groundbreaking that aids further our understanding about sharks. And basically, it was determined that the trenches of that area in the Bermuda Triangle, specifically Rose Island, is the hotspot for sharks mating. And basically, the eureka moment was that she kept going down to like 1,000 feet. She would stop swimming. She would perform like a yawning kind of gesture, which signals socially that she is looking to fuck. And then I was surprised because the doctor throughout the episode kept talking about how we know that this is when they mate, and I guess they were looking for confirmation that this was the hotspot for mating. But in the end, they were like, okay, the male hit her 3 times. There's nothing that could hit this animal 3 times in a row and make her shift by like 3 feet to one side. That means that the male responded and performed a mating ritual pretty much. And they said this is exciting because this has never really been caught on footage before. And I'm saying that loosely. You only saw the top, pretty much the tip of this shark's head, because you know how sharks are shaped. The camera could go on the dorsal fin and you only had a view straight ahead. You never saw a male actually bumping against her because it was dark and they needed to use the infrared, of course. The whole bumping sound is pretty much presumably. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a weirdo. I wasn't hoping for shark fucking footage. That would have been an unnecessary love scene that we often get in movies that add nothing to the plot. And then I said to myself, so the whole point of me spending 46 minutes watching this thing is for you to tell me that sharks like to go deep to the dark where the temperature is a little cooler and there's no light because they want to fuck? I could have told you that. I like for it to be dark too and chilly so it's not stuffy. You know, that is a sweaty process. I don't want it to be hot. So anyway, I'm like, I don't want to be ungrateful, but I guess we like to alienate ourselves from animals so much that I guess it doesn't become obvious that in the same manner that we need an environment conducive to our rituals, then animals don't need that type of thing. I just wasn't surprised. I don't know if it was because of the way the information was presented, but at the end, when the credits started popping up on the screen, I'm like, I could have told you that. All you had to do was ask. I could have given you that information for free. But anyway, it was interesting. I really didn't know that much about sharks. Marine biology in general is something I don't know a whole lot about. So I just curiously clicked on it because my boyfriend was like, I don't understand people's fascination with sharks to where we need a ton of documentaries on it. And then I said, well, maybe it's because they tend to be apex predators and their biology is just unique. They come in all different sizes, shapes. They have ocular capabilities that are unique. They have interesting body composition, and some of them even have dental armor around them. And the thing about sharks is that because they come from the ocean, our understanding, tools to explore it, and by extension, what we can obtain with this new technology pretty much updates our information that we have available on the ecosystem, and that'll affect sharks a lot. I can see why every couple of years we need to come out with a new documentary, because it's like, oh, to reinforce the information that we have presented before, this new technology, this is what we have obtained. I'm grateful for that, because imagine if all the docus we had accessible to us were the ones from like the 2000s or the 90s, 80s. What if we stopped exploring the Titanic in the 1980s? What would we not have learned? I was also introduced to a species I cannot say I had heard of before, which is the ghost shark. This mug, the females, because it is so rare for them to encounter each other, males and females, when they do find each other, whether they're mature enough to reproduce or not, these bitches can actually store the male genetic information in their bodies. Whenever they decide they're ready, they can use that genetic info no matter when she had her little encounter with this dude. She can mentally be like, you know what? Yeah, I want to be a mom now. This stood out to me because you guys know how I made a video about what if you had control over that? Well, let's spin that. Let's add an installment to that. What if humans could select out of all of your encounters, you can have a male genetic information bank in you, a database, and you can be like, so you know this encounter I had with someone when I was like 20? Well, I'm deciding I want to let that come into contact with one of the eggs, and then there I go. Damn. I did not consider that at all. But this little creature, the ghost shark, that's how she roll. That's how she roll. And we humans are out here not able to decide if it's proper for a woman to determine whether or not she'll have a child. Look at this. Look at the autonomy that these sharks have. They can carry this clown's DNA inside of them nonchalantly and be like, no, this encounter happened when I wasn't ready. But you know what? I don't need the re-encounter to deploy maternity. I can make it happen. Boom. Shit. We humans are stupid. We love to argue about nothing. See what happens when religion doesn't get in the way of logic? Not even religion, fucking politics. They're very diverse, so it makes for interesting research. I'm glad I watched that. It made me feel like I was in school taking a science class. And I also have my blue light. Makes it feel oceanic.